I told her something about that party didn't sit right with me. The second she brought it up, a knot tightened in my stomach, not jealousy, but instinct. That quiet inner warning that hums before a storm. Ethan, it's just a party, she said with a laugh, putting on her earrings in front of the mirror. It's my co-worker's birthday, not some college rave. But I'd met those co-workers, the ones who forgot their wedding vows after a couple of drinks. I knew that type. The sidelong glances, the too long laughter. I tried to tell her gently, but she brushed it off with that tone women use when they think men are being controlling. I wasn't trying to cage her. I just didn't want to lose the one fragile thing we still had, trust. She kissed me on the cheek and said, "You worry too much." That was the last normal moment between us. The night stretched endlessly after she left. The house felt hollow, every clock tick echoing louder than it should. I tried reading, watching TV, anything to distract myself, but my eyes kept drifting to my phone. No texts. No "be home soon." Just silence. At 1:43 a.m., the screen finally lit up, but it wasn't her. It was Mark, a friend who worked nearby. "Hey man," his message said. "Pretty sure I saw your wife leaving that club on Jefferson. She didn't look alone." My stomach dropped. I called her right away. No answer. I texted, "Are you okay? Where are you?" Still nothing. By 2 o'clock, I was in the car, driving through the city, past groups of strangers laughing under streetlights. I told myself she was fine. Maybe her phone died. Maybe I was overreacting. But deep down, I already knew something inside us had fractured. Her car was parked 2 blocks from the club. Engine cold. Passenger seat empty. Her purse still there. That's when fear turned into something darker. That hollow, sinking dread no man ever forgets. The one that whispers, "It's over." I waited in my car for nearly an hour, eyes fixed on the club's doors. People stumbled out in pairs, drunk and carefree. None of them her. Then, at 3:17, she appeared, but not alone. A man had his arm around her. One of her co-workers. He wasn't steadying her. He was holding her like she already belonged to him. They paused under a streetlight, her face caught in the glow. Her eyes were half closed, her smile, loose, unfamiliar. Then he leaned in and kissed her. I didn't rage. Didn't move. Sometimes the quiet truth is heavier than any outburst. She saw me then, recognition, horror flashing across her face. She said something to him, stepped back, and started toward me. I started the car and drove away. No words. No scene. Just the sound of my heartbeat, and her voice echoing in my head. "You worry too much." By the time I got home, dawn was breaking. The house still smelled like her perfume. Her coffee cup sat half-finished on the counter, cold. I sat on the couch, staring at nothing, until I heard the front door open. "Ethan," she whispered, voice shaking. "Please, let me explain." I didn't look at her. Didn't say a word. Just asked one question. Was it worth it? She broke then. Fell, cried, reached for me. But I was already gone. Even while sitting right there. Because sometimes you don't lose your wife when she walks out. You lose her the moment she stops listening. And after that, she drifted through the house like a ghost. Haunted by what she'd done. And by the silence that followed. No music. No laughter. No trace of her cooking in the air. Just silence. Dense, fragile, waiting to break at the faintest noise. At first, she tried to talk. Softly, carefully. "Ethan, please." I was drunk. It didn't mean anything. But lies always carry a practiced rhythm. Truth never does. I didn't shout. Didn't accuse. Just said, "You made a choice." And that single line hit her harder than anger ever could, because it meant I'd stopped fighting for us. Once a man stops fighting, there's no road back. She started sleeping in the guest room after that. Some nights I could hear her crying into her pillow, quiet and desperate. Part of me wanted to go to her, to hold her. But another voice in my head reminded me, she didn't hold you when you needed her. So I went to work. Ate in silence. Existed instead of lived. People noticed. Dave from work asked if everything was okay. I told him I was fine. But men like me, We don't talk about pain. We swallow it and pretend it's strength. A week later, she finally spoke through the wall between us. I know you hate me, she said, standing in the doorway, her eyes swollen. But please don't end it like this. We've been through too much. I looked at her, really looked. She was still the woman who used to sing in the car, who'd fall asleep against my chest during movies. But behind her eyes now was someone I didn't know anymore. I don't hate you, I said quietly. I just can't see you the same way. Her lips trembled. Can't we try? I shook my head. You brushed me off when I tried to protect what we had. You made me feel foolish for caring. She took a step closer. It was one mistake. I breathed deeply before answering. No, it was a decision. Forgetting an anniversary is a mistake. Crossing a line you knew was there? That's a choice. That broke her completely. She fell apart, begging me to stay, promising to fix things. But love doesn't come back with promises. Once trust burns, what's left can't hold shape. That night, I packed a small bag, just enough to get by, and booked a room at a nearby motel. When she saw me at the door, she looked terrified. Where are you going? Somewhere quiet, I said. Somewhere I can remember who I was before I started apologizing for wanting loyalty. Her tears came harder. Please, Ethan, don't do this. I paused, hand on the doorknob. I warned you, I said softly. Not to control you, but because I loved you enough to see what you refused to. And then I left. That first night alone felt strange. Empty, but clean. No perfume lingering in the air. No phone lighting up in the dark. Just silence, honest and unbroken. I thought about the guy from the party. Wondered if she tried to explain it to him, too. But I didn't care anymore. Weeks went by. She called, texted, sent letters through friends. Every message said the same thing. I miss you. Please come home. But home wasn't a place now. It was something that died that night under a streetlight on Jefferson Avenue. Months later, I signed the papers. She cried again in that cold office, whispering apologies. I just nodded, thanked her for the memories, and walked out. Outside, the sky was gray, rain hanging in the air. I stood there, letting it fall on my face. Maybe this was how it was always meant to end, not in fury or vengeance, but in quiet acceptance. Sometimes losing someone isn't tragedy, it's freedom wearing a disguise. As I walked away, I remembered the first time she told me she loved me. Back then, I thought love meant staying, no matter what. Now I know better. Sometimes love means knowing when to go. And that night, as the city lights blurred through the rain, one truth settled in my chest. You can warn someone about the fire, but if they still reach for it, their burns aren't on you. What matters is that you walk out of the flames with your soul still whole.